Now. Okay. So welcome, Charles Ahovissi with African Culture Connection. This is Yoko. I'm a director of multicultural advocacy at Hope Esperanza. I'm also watching over the cultural Peter, and I do a cultural festival in a third annual International Bazaar this year on August 20th through the Hope Snowsplat Connect. So welcome, Charles. I'm
Thank you.
very, very exciting to have you guys this year for our event. So I know that a lot of audiences are very excited to learn about who the African Culture Connections and what they do. So if you can introduce yourself to us and give a little bit of backstory of what made you come to the US and forming the African Culture Connections and start teaching.
No problem. So my name is Charles Ahovissi, and I am originally from Benin, West Africa. I came to US in 1998, trying to educate people about the culture and history of Africa. So first time in 1998, I came here with my dance group from Benin. And then we were here for 3 months. And then we all went back home. And then I came back again in 1999, for the same purpose, which is educate people about African culture connection, African history through traditional dancing, drumming, and storytelling.
Right.
Why? Because if I don't do it, it will disappear. It is now written in the book. It is the oral tradition.
Yes.
So in another term, what I do with African Culture Connection. Okay, so let me step back a little bit. While I was here, I create African Culture Connection in 2006. Because I believe that one man cannot do everything.
Right.
So I thought,
that is so true.
Yes, I thought if I have more people around me, so we all together could share the beauty of Africa. We also could make sure that we let people know that Africa it is a home. It is more than a home of lion, tigers and giraffe and all the wild animals. Okay, so in 2006, I create African Culture Connection. Why? In order for me to make sure that I got a funding and go to different schools, different community, and make sure that we teach people about the culture of Africa and then the history. So that's why I create African Culture Connection in 2006. But basically, the nature of the organization, it is to teach and it is to share the aspect of life that African people used to have before the colonization.
Yes.
Before before the pre-colonial, African ancestors used to have different life aspects.
Yes.
Now, when we were colonized by the Portuguese, by the French, by the English, now we have modern life.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So I came to America basically to keep the oral tradition alive. To keep the African people life aspect that they do before the colonization, before the slavery, to keep that alive. So that's what we have been doing. We do not lecture a lot. We use a hands-on activity.
Yes.
We have more than 50, 60 instruments, traditional drums, that we take it to the student, that we take it to the community, and we teach them this life aspect that African ancestor used to do. I'm going to tell you that long time ago, every life aspect in Africa has has a specific dance, has a specific rhythm, has a specific storytelling. So that's what we do through our dancing and drumming. So during our performance, during our presentation, we will perform, we will take at least like a 3 or 4 or 5 tribal story. So then we will do our dance, we will do our rhythm. So then you will be seeing those stories through our dance and then our rhythm. It is, it is very, it is very athletic. The program, the program entertain, but it also educate as well.
I just love that every tribal dances comes with some kind of meanings and reflecting that lifestyle before,
Exactly.
So how that, what do you guys, give us an example of what type of subject can be the incorporated by those African culture connections, dancings and singings and drummings.
Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit that when I mean aspect of life in Africa, this could be like a go to go fishing.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, people fish. So after a good fishing, they gather together and then they celebrate this good fishing by doing the dance. Another example is kind of like it's kind of like hunting. People go to hunt. So after a good hunting, they gather together and then they celebrate. Another example is that in Africa, when you have a baby, you cannot just take the baby outside right away. You cannot just take the baby to the to the grocery store. No, you have to wait. You have to wait for the full moon. So then when the full moon comes, so then the baby mother can take the baby outside, and then there's a dance that they do around the baby. So we perform that dance also. I will give you an example like a mask. We believe like a mask. So we have mask dance, and then we have a rain dance, and then we have a fire dance. So yes, we have traditional wedding dance. Every aspect of life, before the colonization, those are just a few examples that I just gave you. There are, there are 3 types of aspect of life.
Okay.
First, I don't know if you know this, Africa started long time ago with the kingdoms.
Yes.
The kingdoms. So we have the king and the queen. So
yes.
we have the royal life. So we have the days that they do in the kingdoms, to praise the king, to serve the female warriors. I mean, so I just say globally, royal aspect of life. So we have several tribal dances that we do in the royal courts.
Yes.
Now, I talk about popular. Popular could be, like hunting, fishing, celebration of life, kind of initiation of the youth. There's a different type of thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I could also express that, like a sacred aspect of life. It means what?
See.
It means what? Our ancestors, long time ago, they believe the sun, the moon, the ocean, the water. So those type of things that we perform through the dance and then the drumming. Those are just the example.
I think that's very beautiful,
Yes.
And then I assume you guys have a very colorful lifestyle too, in a sense, as in a culture. And I can see some of the, the clothes that you wear, that design has been reflected that cultures,
Each dance, each dance will have a different costume with the color and with all this design. Yes. And I can share this with you that we are focusing more in West Africa.
Because, I see.
Yes, because Africa is so big.
Yes.
There are 55 countries in Africa, over 3,000 languages, which is over 3,000 tribes, group of people.
Yes.
But now, so that's why you have to focus
On the west.
Yes, in some region. Right now, we are focusing in West Africa, meaning there are 17 countries in West Africa. And then, then all these dance that we perform, you can see throughout all these 17 countries. For example, when you go to Nigeria, you will see the dance, Ghana, and then Benin, Ivory Coast, everywhere in those 17 countries, because there's a lot of similarities in those 17 countries. See what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. So when you guys presenting like a West African region and the presenting and creating those dances from pre-colonial times, are there more languages that you guys speak when you perform in that?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Just give us a little bit of what type of language you guys have, like just in case, for another example, if some of the numbers that you guys are probably have are going to perform for us, but what type of language do you guys included within that performance?
Okay, so in that performance, first of all, let me step back. Each country has official language.
Yes.
And those official language are French and English.
Yes.
So now, beside the official language, we have our, we have our dialects, which is
regional,
tribal language. You see, so we are going to incorporate Swahili.
Oh, yes, Swahili.
We are going to, incorporate Yoruba language.
Okay.
We are going to incorporate Mina language, Ogun language, Fon language, Bariba language, Kotokoli language, Aja language. I mean, there's several of them that we are going to incorporate. You might not understand, but we, the performer, we understand the song, the language that we are speaking.
And then, I think it's the beautiful things about performance arts, like in a visual way that you guys present. It's always the energy and then how you guys present can show us the emotions. Not necessarily we don't need to know every language. That's definitely impossible for us. However, I think what I'm looking for is to really experience that, the emotion that comes with the language, comes with the cultural background from your Western African region to, to bring to come alive in front of the audiences. So I'm very excited, but let's talk a little bit about yourself, Charles. I'm very, interested in to know. So how old were you that you realized you're going to do this? You're going to dance, you wanted to be a dancer, or you wanted to teach this kind of cultural backgrounds and cultural heritage through the performances.
Yes. Well, first of all, when I was 4 years old, I started going from village to village with my mother, dancing and singing and moving around. But at age of 13, I decided that, this is something that I feel like, it will be needed because, and what just motivated me more is that, there's a need, there's a need of global understanding, in our community, and then the more diverse population, we have in our community, the more cultural education is needed in our community. You see what I'm saying? So, I feel like since this is like oral tradition, and then it is now written in a book, I thought, well, I need to go to school and learn more about my ancestors. What was the life they used to have? What was the cultures and all that they used to have? Because things change after the colonization. You see, now, so to see all of these cultural activity that we do, you have to go to the villages in order to see. So
because it's an oral tradition, they are not just going to like write it down in a book. You really need to be there and participate and learn.
Absolutely. So I feel like, well, if I don't do this by traveling around, and teach and perform, one day it will disappear. And then I don't want that to, yes, I don't want that to disappear. That's why I keep it alive. That's what motivates me more. And then since I start doing this, I feel like more young people are buy into it.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I'm making a lot of differences in these young people's life because because they realize that Africa is not a country. Africa is a big continent.
Continent, yes.
So I feel like, well, this is really needed in our community. That's why every other month I travel to Africa. I make sure that I bring more instruments, I bring more drums in order to teach people in my community here.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Charles. And then I also wanted to ask you a little bit about, the drumming, the tools that you use. The instrument is making everything's coming together and tied together your performance. What type of drums do you guys use from Africa?
Well, we use different type of drum. I can give you one example. One is called bakule. Bakule, it is a long, tall drum.
Yes, I think I have seen that.
Yeah, it is a long, tall drum that we use to communicate long time ago in Africa. Long time ago, before the telephone was invented, that is the specific drum that we use to communicate, to go from the village to village, door to door, to send the king message. So it is called bakule. Yes, it is called bakule drums.
Bakule?
Yes, we have talking drum, which is gangahun.
Okay.
We have ajobo drums. We have a djembe drum that is popular in the US now.
Okay.
We have a zenli drum. We have more than 10 different drums. Not to mention cowbell and shakers and flutes. Yes. But yes.
So exciting. So exciting. I love that. And then, so you guys have a large number of group members, right?
Yes.
And you guys, some of them already toured and it came from the South Africa with you. Now, tell me a little bit about the diversity and demography of the people that you teach nowadays in Omaha area.
Right. So at least at this time we have more than 17, closer to 20 artists here in Omaha. And then so there, there are a variety of people, some of them from Africa, not just from one country in Africa, but some of them from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Togo, from Benin. We even have we even have the Latinos.
Wonderful.
Oh yes, we have the Latino dancers in our group. We have a drummers from China, and I mean, our group, it's kind of diverse, people that we just don't differentiate, anybody, because we say African culture connection is for everybody.
I love that.
Oh yes, it's not just for Black people. It's for everybody because we are sharing the culture. We just don't want to keep it for ourselves. We want to share it. So yes. So there are a variety of people here in Omaha doing this with us.
That's great. So is there any other African community members where they feels like, hey, you know what? It's not so truthful. You think that, like if you're going to have the diversity and the different people from the different country doing the African dance, but what I love about how you guys doing is it's, the music is borderless, dancing is borderless, and then sharing the culture it's just most important things, and anybody could appreciate from what you guys do. And I think that's so beautiful. So what can you see like in Omaha area, probably when you guys moved from South Africa to come to a US and then settled into Omaha area? Must be quite a bit of a diversity back then to right now. So how your journey has evolved? as a teacher over there and then working in a community teaching about African traditions and heritage?
Yes, sometimes, sometimes people accept it. People accept our teaching, our performance. Sometimes people appreciate, and sometimes
Yes,
they don't. And we don't give up because we
that's
feel
right.
like, oh yes, we don't give up because we feel like what we are doing is right. What we are doing is needed, in our community. So if we say, well, oh, they're not appreciating it. Oh, they're not doing. If we listen to outsiders, we will not doing, what we want to do. But we want to achieve our mission. So sometimes it is downside. Sometimes it is upside. And then we just keep, we just keep getting, and we're not listening to people.
Right.
Because we feel like, because we feel like what we're doing, it is important here. And you know what? We are the only, we are the only dance group that does African culture and history through the dance, the drumming, and then the storytelling. We are the only organization in Nebraska, Iowa, Colorado, and all those places.
Astonishing. Like
We are the only
literally,
one.
like really amazing things. So what's some of the challenges do you see like daily, like when you go performing or teaching, even within local Omaha, within African communities, when you have connecting to a younger generations, what's the challenge, and then what's the purpose of, how you keep going with it?
Well, the first challenge is to sometimes it is hard sometimes to have the number of the artists
Oh, I see.
that will be available to go teach or to go perform. Why? Because some of these people, yes, they have a passion that I have, but also they have their own job.
Right.
They have their own job that they have to go through in order to take care of their family. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the challenge number one. How you could get some of the numbers that you need in order to go teach and perform and do a good job. That's challenge number one that we're having. And then the other challenge is not, excuse me, sometimes people just see us online, they just see us on TV, but they don't realize that what we do, it is very important that we have to take care of ourselves. Meaning the costume that we put it on to teach or to perform, those costumes are very, very expensive. We
You
go
bet.
to Africa and then we bring those costumes here. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
All these instruments that we use with the student, some of these instruments sometimes break. So we have to fix them. So the second challenge is that people don't value what we do. People don't appreciate what we do. So they just think that, oh, well, so can you guys come and perform? Can you guys teach and perform? And then so then we will pay you $300 or $500. I say, hey, how can you bring 10 people or more people and then you'll get, it's just, sometimes it doesn't make sense. So meaning they see it online, they see it on TV, they see it on the paper, but they don't know the value. They don't, they don't appreciate.
Right.
Those are the challenge that we're having here because you know what? To be honest with you, we are not doing this for money.
And then I really appreciate that it comes. And then, I value you guys because when I first saw your profiles and then read a little bit about the African Culture Connection, immediately I was so gravitated because number one, I haven't really exposed a lot to African cultures in that sense. And I always love that, the tribal beats, the a beautiful library, like library lifestyle that I see in a while to, what's actually really happening, even with interesting, the history that you guys have in South Africa.
Yes.
I really value what you guys do because artistry is a lifestyle. It's just not a
Yes.
gig that you do every day. It is about your
Absolutely.
livelihood. It is about really your passion that you time that you investing into it to really showing and share the value with the outside with the community or even within your own
Yes.
communities to teach the next generation. So,
Yes.
I can definitely see that, the frustration you guys face each day sometimes with that type
Yeah.
of, because people just doesn't understand the value of it. But that's why I
Exactly.
think it is beautiful that we can bring you guys over and inspire so many people. And then I have no doubt that your groups and what you guys are gonna bring it over through your passions and emotion. I think our community will really appreciate what you guys do because
There
how
are,
many day I mean really it's a powerful presence when you come bring over so many people into a one stage
yes,
and
and then
do things through your own bodies and
absolutely,
movements.
absolutely. I mean, we will transform the whole place. We will transform the whole North Plaza into African village. That's what we
Oh, I
do.
love
Oh
that.
yeah, because first of all, because our costume, our background, our backdrop, everything, that we bring into that place, you say, wow, this is Africa. So we transform the whole place into African village.
Oh wow, I
Oh
just
yes,
can't
yes,
wait to see that.
yes, yes, yes. So that's I was saying earlier that we are not doing this for money because if we don't do it, it will disappear.
Right,
It will disappear.
so
So we want to make sure that
mhm.
I mean everybody, black people, white people, like whatever people.
Yes.
I mean, yes, they join us, they do
Mhm.
it. So that's why we are looking for more people.
To
If you
join
have
you
time,
guys.
if you have time, join us. We're gonna teach you how to teach. We're gonna teach you how to perform, and then together because one day we are not gonna be here. So
Right.
we want everybody to keep the legacy of African culture.
I love that. I love that. And then, I Africa is such a powerful countries too. And then,
Absolutely.
I was very found the similarities with some of the, things you said back in pre-colonizations of
Yes.
Africa, with all different things that you can bring over, like a fishing to huntings to,
Absolutely.
those type of lifestyles to reflecting into cultural forms is
Yes.
very, very important, like as you said. And then
It
I
is.
see why you are passionate about what you do and stick it to it. And then, sometimes I feel that way where if I live in a very small town of
Mhm.
25,000, so it's much,
Mhm.
much more smaller scale than Omaha area. And when
Yeah.
it comes down to a demographies, we're talking about 86 white, 11% maybe Hispanic, and the rest of the people like myself fall into that under the 1%.
Okay.
So what does the diversity looks like here? What can we do to actually keep going with our own cultural heritage and educating ourselves with the cultural competence and over who we are, where we
Yes.
came from. It
Yes.
is not about
Yes.
the entitlement just because we are here first. Like
Yes.
there is no such
Exactly.
a there is no such a entitlement. There is no such a concept.
No, absolutely not.
The land of
Absolutely.
free, and then we all started with an immigrants here.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
ancestors, and
Yes.
like myself, I'm a first generation, but Japanese person to come over here. That would be
Okay.
so different. Even what the culture heritage tells around here with compared
Yeah.
to American, Japanese American community even.
Yeah.
So, but I can relate it to that. It is important for me to teach my younger generation what the Japanese culture looks like and what we do and why, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because that makes us who we are. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
can completely understand and then see the beautiful, beautiful passion that you have for the culture of your own country. So
Absolutely.
one of the most favorite dance that you're gonna bring it over. What is that? Is that style that you have or a story that you have? If you can just kind of tell us about that.
The favorite dance that I'm going to bring. First of all, we're gonna bring more than 5, 6, 7 dances, different one. And then my favorite one is the one that I do to remember the ancestors.
Yes.
You see, because they were the one who paved the way for us. So yes, we're gonna have popular dance, we're gonna have royal dance, we're also gonna have
Mm.
sacred dance.
Oh,
And
wow.
one of those dance is kind of like we call that agbada. Then
Abada.
agbada, it is a sacred dance to remember the ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
but it also the costume, the costume has a shape of circle, the
Oh,
earth.
wow.
So this means that so we're gonna be coming out there to tell people that we were born, from the earth. We are
Oh,
raised on the
yes.
earth. We're gonna die and go back to the earth.
Mm.
So that's the meaning of the costume.
I didn't know that. So thank you so much for explaining that. And I think so beautiful. I mean,
Yes,
it's just the one big cycle of life,
I know.
right?
Yes, circle of life.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow.
We
And
are the
then,
same people. We come from the same place. I don't know if you know this. The first human being, came from Africa. The
mm.
first doctor in the whole world came from Africa.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, the first hospital. I mean, everything started from Africa.
Yeah, I love that. And then I know that, when I sometimes looking into my anthropology journals and listening into a different news and a discovery recently, many ethnicity starts from the African continent. It
Absolutely.
is a fact. It is a fact.
Absolutely.
And then,
Absolutely.
somehow we all diverted into a different continents over the years, and
Mm-hmm.
something happened with the erosions, and
Mm-hmm.
the continent
Mm-hmm.
has been moved over the years. But the Africa really has a deep connection over there. And
Absolutely.
so when
Absolutely.
did you the African culture connection is such a perfect name to describe you guys, because
Right.
that's basically what Charles you told me, the
Right.
story of what you guys want to teaching for the communities and world. So
Right.
do you guys usually travel around outside of the US also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh no, not outside of the US. No. Right
It's just
now we are
within the
traveling
US.
in the US. But
Okay.
myself alone, I travel outside of the US to teach and then to perform. But
Oh,
not with the
wow.
whole group. With the whole group, we are here. We've been to different states. We've been to Washington State. We've been to Missouri. We've been to Montana. Yes, we've
Yes.
been to
Yeah.
Iowa. Yeah, we've been to different states. As a group. But no, myself, I travel a lot internationally, teaching and performing.
Oh, wow. That is so, so
Yes,
special. And thank
yes,
you so much for, be on the interview today, because,
yes. It's gonna be
a
fun.
lot of advertisements and marketing that I'm doing. But,
Yes,
one thing that I heard is so many people are so excited already
I
about
know. I know.
witnessing something so
Yes.
different and unique that we haven't really brought up to this way. And then
Yes,
that way, I just can't wait to see the youth or the people with any ages are going to be
absolutely.
inspired by
Absolutely.
you, and also
Absolutely.
inspired by your group members. So
Yes,
thank you so much for being on
we are bringing,
today's interview with me today. It
thank
means
you.
a lot.
Thank
So
you.
what we
Thank you.
can expect is, so you guys are going to be here on August 20th, and it's at the
Yes,
DNN Event Center in North Platte,
yes,
Nebraska. And
yes,
the African Connection is going to perform twice,
yes,
which is wonderful, generous way for you guys to kind of really
yes,
reach out to many, many people that day. So you guys are gonna
absolutely.
be coming in around like 3 o'clock, and then you guys are gonna
Yes,
do the 2 o'clock, I think, and you guys are gonna
yes,
do a 5 o'clock that last show to close
Yes.
the celebration of the the multicultural festival this year. So and then you
Absolutely.
guys are going to also bring over the exhibit vendors of Africa,
SB vendor,
right?
yes. Oh,
So you
yes,
guys
we're
are
gonna
gonna
have a
have some
booth.
authentic African goods that the
Absolutely.
people from
Yes.
here and community
Yes.
outside can actually purchase and
Yes. Yes.
take it with them for that
Absolutely.
day.
We are, we are bringing the entire continent of Africa into North Platte.
I love that. I love
Okay.
that. And thank you so much. It is so honored to get to know you, Charles. It's been
Thank you.
very my pleasures to introducing you to the North Platte community, and
Thank you.
we can't wait to have you guys very soon here. But thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
being here.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.